It must be a Christmas miracle because every single book I read in December was 4 stars or above. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over why you should read them. So let's get into this reading recap. One of my most anticipated books for October or November was Brimstone by Callie Hart. And you best believe that I had to do a reread because there's no way this goldfish memory remembers anything that happened in this behemoth of a book. And honestly, the only thing I remember from Quicksilver is just like when Kingfisher says like, I can smell like the arousal on you, Saris. And I was just like, why is that the only thing I remember? I actually had to get both versions of Brimstone. When I first read Quicksilver, I read it on Kindle Limited, I believe. And this time I decided to do the audiobook instead. I'm so glad I did the audiobook this time because I just feel like I retained way more knowledge than when I was reading it for some reason. It has been such a long time since I've really delved into a romantasy, and I feel like Quicksilver just like was a cherry on top for me. I don't know why, you guys. I feel side tangent. I just don't think I've been in a fantasy romance phase lately. Like in 2024, that is the only thing I wanted to read. So that's why I'm really glad I did the audiobook version. Okay, how many times is it gonna take me to say that? I'm really glad I did the audiobook version of Quicksilver. Okay, I did it. Oh my god. If I could complain about one thing, when I reread this, I just feel like Saris was a little bit more immature than I last remembered her to be. You know, it's so funny because I'm talking about this now and I gave it a 5-star as a reread. I still stand by that. I think the story and overall is really good. When I first read this, I loved Saris a lot more, and in my reread, I love Kingfisher a lot more. I just feel like the things that he did to go after her, to do stuff for her, and the yearning was just like so much better this time around. My second read of December was For the Fans by Nyla K. You guys might have already seen one of my previous videos where I did a reading vlog of this book, and it's just so funny. Okay, I posted a short about this, and I don't know why, but like it just brought out all the haters for some reason, and someone was just like, oh, like never recommend this channel to me anymore. I don't know if it's like a homophobic thing, and apparently like me talking about this book, I'm promoting pornographic material, made me laugh reading that comment. But thank you for the engagement. But anyway, I absolutely loved For the Fans. I know right now everyone's talking about heated rivalry, which I need to get into. For the Fans is my first romance that I've ever read. I explained in my other video, but one of the reasons why I held off on reading romance for so long is just because I feel like it wasn't going to be as relatable for me. And for me, when I read books, I love to just like escape and feel like I'm one of the characters in the book. And I was like, well, if I'm not a male and I'm not gay, like how am I going to relate to this? Well, let me tell you, I still related the book out of this book. Okay, I haven't thought about actually doing OnlyFans, but I've definitely thought about selling feet pics because in this economy, it is hard to get by. And when you can, you know, at least sell some like feet pictures, whoever knows how much, like I have definitely thought about that. So I don't blame Kieran and Avi for doing what they did, but this was such an emotional roller coaster of a book. In the beginning of the book, both characters did not think or know that they were gay or bisexual, and it's just so beautiful reading about their story and how they come to the end of the book. This was very, very spicy. I think on a chili pepper scale of 1 through 5, I would put this at 4 because I say like almost after 50% mark of this book, I was just like, dang, that's a lot of spice again. Okay, another chapter of spice, but I still ate it up. And tell me why. I'm not a male, but when I read some of these things, I was like, why am I getting hot in here? The next book I read in December was Cowboy Casual by Renee. This book has been on my TBR for so long. I also made a separate video on why I love this book so much and why you should read it. So if you want a little bit more in-depth review, go check out my latest video. But one of the reasons why I read this book, aside from the fact that I am just like, Cowboy is my second personality, is that the cover is absolutely cute. So this book features a single dad, a small town romance with forced proximity and second chance. I don't really gravitate towards books with a child as like a main, you know, a main character, but a very prominent character. But in this one, Ruby, which is Colt's daughter, she was just like one of my favorite characters ever that I've ever read, and it actually made me consider whether I really did not want to have kids or not, and I go into that a little bit further in my other video. I know this book has a lot of hype on TikTok, and I will say it is definitely worth the hype. I'd say if you love Elsie Silver, you love Leigh Nyla Sage, Catherine Cowles, that kind of cowboy romance books, and I definitely say go for this one. Okay, you guys know at this point, Leigh Rivers is an auto-buy author for me. I talked about the Edge of Darkness trilogy, at least like in every single one of my YouTube videos so far this year. That is one of my favorite dark romance series ever, and actually, you know, even take the dark romance out of it, one of my top series of this year. And I felt like after all that cowboy romance, I needed a little, you know, spice it up a little bit. So I went to Little Stranger. This is the Web of Silence duet. And also, let me tell you why I love me a short book, and not only that, the pages are thick and the lines are so wide. Okay, like nothing just gives me more dopamine than a short ass book like this. So this book has one of my favorite tropes ever, and you guys know me at this point. It has step siblings. At least this time they're not blood related. Oh, did I forget to mention, For the Fans is actually about two stepbrothers, and yeah, they are not blood related either. In Little Stranger, the two main characters, they are foster siblings. They are also the same age, and their names are Malachi and Olivia. And Malachi Vise, oh my god, he is... Okay, out of all of my Leigh Rivers male main characters, I think he is up there. Tobias is still number one for me. He's closer to my age range, so I feel like realistically he's more of my like book daddy. Then I love Cade, and I feel like I'm getting to know Malachi. I think he's tied with Cade right now. This is also a stalker romance, very much so a dark taboo romance, and also obviously forbidden. I think if you're just reading for vibes and look no further, Little Strangers is exactly what you need. This book is absolutely one of the most unhinged books. I think it's very on par for Leigh Rivers. There are some scenes where I was just like, what the fuck am I reading? And let me tell you, in a very good way. And I just love that it's so easy to read. Like I said, the writing style is like not the best. The storyline plot, it's like, it's not the most unique thing out there, but if you're reading for vibes, this is absolutely so good. After that crazy book, I had to go and switch to something else. So I read Winter Wishlist by Elliott Rose. This is a why choose cowboy romance. So already two of my favorite things. You had me at why choose, because what's better than one? Two. I love that this book was also so short. It's only 286 pages, so it's definitely something you can read in one sitting or just like over the weekend. I would say that this book is 100% just like allspice. Also reading for vibes, okay? You're not here to read because you're trying to get like emotional, read none of that. No, no, no. This is absolutely not for the plot, it's for the spice and the vibes. I feel like I need more why choose romance book recommendations, so if you have any, please drop them in the comments below. But I will just say one word to also, you know, entice you to read this book, and let me just say pegging. Okay, there you go. For my next book, I read Your Knife, My Heart by K.M. Moronova. This is the first book in the duet. This one came out in November of this year, and the second book just came out. Actually, let me go get it. So this is the first one in the duet, and this is the second one that just came out. This one is called Your Blade, Your Back. My Blade, Your Back. You guys, I can't like, I don't know what is up with me, but saying these titles is so hard for me. I want to give a moment of like applause or dedication to K.M. Moronova for making her own book art for these books. Also for Leave Me Behind. If you guys saw my reading recap, I think it was for November, but you guys, Leave Me Behind is definitely one of my top books of this year. This got me into dark military romance and completely changed my mind. Why am I out of breath? Completely changed my life. And I really like this one. Okay, I feel like this is kind of where I went a little wrong. I read it pretty soon after Leave Me Behind, so I kind of had, you know, like the leftover hangover feelings from that book, those 5-star feelings. I was expecting this to be like just as good, but I feel like I didn't love it as much as Leave Me Behind. But I know people love this one more than the other one, so I would, you know, say like even if you don't know where to start, I would say start with Leave Me Behind and give yourself like a month or two. Actually, no, that's too much. Just give yourself, you know, a few books in between before you go into this one. I gave this one 4 stars, and I cannot wait. I'm actually gonna read this probably this week, hopefully. I'm so excited, but look how beautiful it is. Oh my god. And then moving on to Good Spirits by B.K. Morrison. This is so different from all the other books I've read this year. I am not really a Christmas romance kind of girly. I love this because I haven't read a story like this ever. So unique to me. So this has a mix of paranormal romance, time travel, traveling, and also magical realism. If you loved The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I think you would really like this. It has similar in terms of like vibes and like the magical realism, but the storyline itself is not, you know, obviously similar. This one broke me, you guys. I was so emotional. I was tearing up. The ending of this book, like literally from this point on, I was just in tears. I would say that even if it's not winter anymore, or if it's, you know, Christmas is already like 7 months later, or if Christmas is already gone and past, I still would read this book. I also heard from my bestie Myrna on TikTok that the audiobook version is really good. I definitely recommend either, you know, either one. Read a physical ebook or audiobook. But one of the greatest things that I loved about this book was the slow burn. It was absolutely so slow, but it was absolutely worth it as well. And I also love the connection between the two main characters, Nolan and Harriet. It didn't seem insta-lusty at all. It felt really genuine and authentic, but you have to read this book. Even if it's not winter anymore, even if it's July and you're in Hawaii, like, you gotta read this. And I am so excited because I just finished Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie like literally 1 hour ago. Did you know, and I didn't know this, but Krista and Becca are actually identical twins and they write together, obviously. This was amazing. Don't let the rating on Goodreads scare you, because this was absolutely a 5-star read for me. This is great if you love the Gossip Girl, Jessa Hastings style, messiness meets Euphoria type of vibes, because this was dramatic and messy as hell. This is a story about two childhood best friends, and they are actually roommates now. Female main character, her name is Lily, and she's a sex addict. And her roommate, the male MMC in this book, he is an alcohol addict. So together they end up like kind of fake dating in front of their families. They come from like a very prestigious like billionaire family, and they're together so that they can kind of hide their addiction problems and protect each other from their respective families. So, but I was so, you know, I was literally addicted to this book and I cannot wait. I already, you know, like once I got to the 50% mark, like last night, it was like 1 a.m. I was like, okay, let me buy the second one so I have it right on hand. Actually, this entire series is on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have Kindle Unlimited, then you can also find it there. But for me, I love the mess, you guys. Like, I actually felt like I was able to escape out of modern day present world, and I just like felt like I was in this life, and I was so hooked. I will definitely say like there were times where I was just wanting to like just rip my hair out, but there's moments in this book where I was just like, you guys just need help. Like, if you just went to therapy or sought professional help, like all of this book would be over. But what's the fun in that? I want the mess, I want the drama, I want the tears, I want the screaming and fighting. That's why I read, okay? So if you love that kind of stuff too, I think you should definitely pick this up. I feel like this is definitely a book you can finish and binge in 1 day. That's what I did. Actually, it really was like 2 days. Wow. Like I said, I don't know what I did to the book gods to have such a good reading month. There was not a book I DNF'd. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Okay, I will say I'm still working my way through Brimstone, but I will give you guys a full update in the new year, hopefully in Q1 of New Year. But this was such a good month. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one.